Free socks. Free socks.
Welcome, everybody, to another exciting edition of the Triple B Experience. A day later, we were supposed to do this, a day and a week later. We were supposed to do this last week, but things happened. Last night, things happened. But tonight, we are going to do all the Marvel movies that's not MCU, and we are going to rank them like we did the MCU ranking with myself and these special guys coming in right now. And first and foremost, it's my co-host from Steelers Dynasty Podcast and the West Virginia Mountaineer Mafia. Here's special field correspondent, Shane Stodmiller. Hi, Shane.
I feel like Les Nessman when you do that intro.
Well, if turkeys are going to fly.
WKRP for all you old folks out there.
Well, that's probably me because I'm like the oldest out of
the
group here.
Daredevil.
Yeah. But you got your little ranking.
Yeah, it's up there. All you got to do is present it, and we're ready to roll.
Okay, well, we got to get the guy who's like a pop culture connoisseur. We'll see if he watched all these movies because I know there's some movies I didn't watch. No. But we're going to bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. It's the action figure man himself, and he knows what he's talking about. Here he is, our man Cable. Cable, how you doing?
Hey, I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Oh, just living the American dream,
That's it.
Now, I think the last time we did this, we actually had a good response. A lot of people played. A lot of people were engaging. Now, this one here is a little different. These are not the MCU. These are all the Marvel movies. So, Cable, if you want to explain to the masses on how we decided to do this, I'm gonna give you the baton of justice.
All right. So, for everybody that was here a couple weeks ago, we put all the MCU canon movies into a tier app to rate best to worst. We had God tier, great, good, okay, not great, and hot garbage. And we're back to do it again. And this time it's everything Marvel outside of the MCU canon. So, your original Spider-Mans, Punisher, Eric Bana, Hulk, things like that. And to answer the question you opened with, I have not seen all of these. As much of a superhero aficionado as I am, we'll get into it later probably at some point, but I have put my foot down and I have a standing order to not watch certain movies that are on this list. So,
oh, really? Why is that?
Because they're hot garbage, Bubba.
Yeah, you'll see when we rank them.
Yeah, hot garbage. Not watching hot garbage.
Don't got time.
Okay. Well, let's. I'm trying to get the Facebook. I don't know why I always have problems when I try to do this, but there is the lovely. That's the lovely rankings on all these. Okay.
So, what I'm going to do, Cable, I think I have the order. I think Blade's the first one. I'm going to have you kind of tell me which one you want to rate, and then I'll pull it up, okay?
Okay. All right, we can do that. So Blade should be the oldest, correct then? 1998 Blade?
Yeah. Let me see if I have the pictures. I'm trying to make sure down here where Blade is. Oh, there's the old Blade right there. So here's old Blade.
Old Blade.
The OG, 98, baby. Going back 27 years. 27 years. That'd be like in high school going back to the 50s. You know what I'm saying? That's how old Blade is right now.
Wow, that's pretty old.
So I'll start with Mav. Go ahead, Mav.
Mav.
Oh, sorry, Cable. Why did I call you Mav? We haven't had Mav on the show forever, Cable. Sorry.
I thought you meant me, but I just wanted to make sure.
Cable. That's why I said that. Is because I went back and watched an old video in the feed. I was showing someone the show, the Triple B Experience, and I saw an old show with the three of you on there, and I watched a little bit of it. So I have the old school cast in on the brain. So
Well, we
sorry.
always got Matt on the brain. But all right, I'll get the ball rolling. Original Blade, 1998. I'm going to say, and I have just watched this kind of recently, actually.
Really?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go great.
Okay.
It's not the best movie ever made by far, and it's definitely a product of its time. 1998. The effects haven't aged so well. There's some corny dialogue, stuff like that. But that's kind of the charm to it, also. But they made Wesley Snipes so cool in that movie. You know, they really shine a good light on him in this movie. And it's fun and good action pieces, things like that. And I think I'm not going to have a lot of movies in this tier. So
really?
That's my vote.
Bubba, what are you thinking?
Well, I'm going to say it was the movie that catapulted the Marvel into making a profit. And I'm going to go with the first. And now I don't know if you guys know this, but Tracy Lord was in the actual first 10 minutes of the movie. She was a vampire.
Oh, nice.
Huh.
That's why I'm going to give it GOAT Vision.
Whoa.
I always liked this is the best Blade out of this. I like this one. So I think this is Wesley Snipes' greatest role as Blade 1. So,
yeah, I would agree with Bubba. I would honestly put it between good and great, but because it started the genre, I want to put it probably. I would have to put it in the high great area. So I'd have to, between goat and great, but I'm okay with great. So that's two votes great, one vote goat. So
okay, that's fine.
It might move up. But it's the OG. It started it all, so that gives it a little bit more oomph, and as far as the ranking,
Right.
as far as I'm concerned. So next on list is X-Men, the original X-Men. Baba, go ahead and start us off. What do you think of the original X-Men, and why pull it up?
I'm gonna say it was. I'm gonna say it was. I'm gonna say it was. I'm gonna say it was great. But I wasn't liking the. I didn't like the guy who played Sabretooth, even though he was an ex-professional wrestler.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna catch some heat for this. And I didn't like the girl who played Rogue. And I thought that they should have made it the more Kitty Pryde, but that's just me. So I'm gonna say great.
Okay. What do you think, Cable? What are you thinking there? What do you think is great or good? Great goat? Meh?
It's good or great for sure. It's one of those two. I'm probably going to lean towards great. The movie now, you go back and watch it, it still holds up. It's got its flaws, and they had to do what they had to do in the year 2000, trying to get a superhero movie to be accepted. So that's why we don't have the blue and yellow Wolverine suit and all this stuff. But for what it was, what it did at the time, an even more illogical leap than Blade by bringing mutants in. The casting, top tier. So, 13-year-old Caleb went to see this.
Yeah.
And on his birthday that year, and as a 90s kid that grew up with X-Men on top of the world in the comic universe, it was everything I could have wanted it to be then. So I'm going to stick with great.
I can't go against that. I mean, I thought it was.
I think Devil said that was GOAT.
Okay.
But we haven't got to that one.
Huh. Well, I can't disagree. I'd put it in the good or the great. So you guys are on the same page with the great. So I'd probably rate it as good. Great is where it's going to stand. Next up is Blade 2. What do you guys think about Blade 2?
That's when they go and underneath the tunnels, and they had Ron Perlman,
Norman Reedus.
Yeah.
And they had that cool vampire design where the jaw split open.
I would say, what's the other one under? What's under good? What is that?
Meh.
Yeah, that's what I'll say.
Okay. Cable?
I'm going to say good. I actually dance between good and great on this one. I think I like Blade 2 more than Blade 1. For everything I can appreciate about Blade 1, I think this is one of the sequels that outdoes the first. It's the one that comes before it. That being said, product of its time, all that stuff. Wasn't the originator like the original Blade was, so I'm going to go good.
Okay. I'm gonna agree with good. I think that's a good spot for it. Moving on, 2002, we see probably one of my favorites, and I'm gonna rate this one high. The OG Spidey. Cable, you kick us off. What do you think?
This one's tough. A slight spoiler, but I think everybody's probably thinking the same thing. It's not even the best one out of the Tobey Maguire trilogy.
Right.
But you brought Spider-Man to life for the first time. I mean, seeing him swing, well, maybe not the first time, but with modern effects, not the Japanese 70s version.
Or the guy from the the CBS one.
Yeah. So paving the way, and this was the blockbuster. This outperformed anything Marvel had done to that point, X-Men and everything. And we'll see as we get into 2003, this one really opened the door for superheroes. So I'm going to go God tier or GOAT.
Okay, I can see that. But I'll go next, Bubba. I would have to agree. I mean, out of all of these, this is the first one that gets the Marvel, the feels that you get from the real Marvel movies down the road with, that we just did the evaluation on last week, geared them up. So what do you think, Bubba?
Well, this was, look, I never thought in my wildest dreams that Spider-Man would actually be on the big screen, because I'm used to the 1979 shitty one where he was fighting robbers and up on top of the building. It was cheesy ass special effects. I'm going to go with GOAT.
Yep.
You saw Green Goblin on and Tobey Maguire. It was good. I mean, I liked it.
Yeah, I think that's an easy pick for all of us.
Moving on. Green Goblin.
Oh,
Did you guys say anything else?
Yeah, and then it got an MTV Kiss Award for that kiss scene where he kissed her upside down.
Oh yeah, when she was upside. When he was upside down, and
So next one we have, guys, is Daredevil from 2003. This one I really had to think back to what my feelings were on it, and I'm gonna go to Bubba first. Bubba, what are you thinking?
Hot garbage.
OG Daredevil, hot garbage.
Yeah, I don't like Ben Affleck as Daredevil. I just thought it was terrible, and William Duncan Clark played a good Kingpin. Colin Farrell was Bullseye.
Right.
But it just seemed like it was just not good. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Cable, what are your thoughts?
What do we got above hot garbage?
Bad.
And what's above bad?
Meh.
I'll go bad. I don't think quite hot garbage. I liked Michael Clark Duncan as
Yeah, I thought he was
Kingpin.
good. I thought he was good.
Yeah, fitting, especially at the time. Colin Farrell was so cheesy as Bullseye. I also like Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
Yeah.
The action scenes were good. I like the way that they, how they presented his abilities with the him blind and kind of almost like sonar, echolocation. So it had some cool aspects of it, but I'm gonna keep it. Yeah, I'm gonna say bad.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with Cable. It's close to being hot garbage, but we're gonna get a lot of hot garbage coming up, and so it has to slide into the bad for me because uh, I Jennifer Gardner is a cutie, and I thought enjoy watching her. The villain was great. If I think back, it was bad, but just bad. Maybe meh, bad. Yeah, bad for me. So we'll put it a bad. But hot garbage, guys, watch out. It's gonna fill up quick. Speaking of hot garbage, and I know Bubba's not gonna put this movie in the hot garbage category. So Bubba, hit us up with where would you put the OG Hulk?
Oh,
2000.
surprising?
Yeah.
Hot garbage.
Really?
Yeah, you know why? Because the Incredible Hulk did not get 15 foot tall, and they had the actor Nick. Wait, hold on, Nicholas. What the heck's his name? I can't think of his name, but he was supposedly that was the Absorbing Man. His dad played the Absorbing Man.
Oh, Nick Nolte.
Yeah, Nick Nolte, and that was ridiculous.
Oh my.
But he was like a mixture of Absorbing Man and Zax almost.
Yeah, and it was terrible. Terrible. So yeah, and then when I saw it the first time at the Indiana Mall, I had to watch it twice because it actually the last 5 minutes of the movie it actually burned up. It fried.
Oh no!
So I was pretty pissed off.
So Indiana Mall Theater disappointing for more than 20 years. That's amazing.
It's been disappointing for a long time. So,
Cable, what are your thoughts? Just hot garbage?
No, I'm going to say bad.
Okay.
And I don't know if it's fair to view things this way, but this was the first time we saw Hulk in modern effects also. So, you stack it up to today's movies, no competition at all, doesn't compare. But you go back to 2003 when those effects were, borderline groundbreaking, and it's definitely not a good movie for sure. I hated the Gamma dogs. Also,
that was terrible.
But seeing him take apart those tanks and launch himself through the air, it has some good stuff to it. And like Shane said, we're going to be loading up the hot garbage. And I would rather watch Daredevil or Hulk than some of the stuff that's going to come later.
That's why I agree. Now I want to ask you boys: was that the Hulk where we got our first teaser to the Avengers?
No,
that was the one later. So
yes, that was the Hulk that I love. Yes,
yeah, that's the Hulk that you love. So I'm putting in the bad, close to hot garbage, but it's just a hair above hot garbage. Moving on, X2. X2 for me, I'm gonna go first. I thought their suits were kind of hokey. If they were hokey in the past the X-Men movie from 2 years before this, they went full black, trying to be cool hipsters, and I think this is meh. Boys, what do you think?
All right, we're gonna put a big curve on this. I say goat.
Okay.
I'll agree with you. I don't like the character designs for most of the X-Men movies in Fox, but the story, the plot, the characters we get, that opening scene with Nightcrawler attacking the White House.
Right.
I definitely think that this improved on the first one in every way. I love Pyro turning and going with Magneto, just like he would have in the comics, and the scene where Wolverine gets shot by the police officers and the bullet gets pushed back out of his skull and he stands out like
That's
a
cool.
lot of really cool stuff. Brian Cox as William Stryker, even though they kind of retooled him for the movie, the character, I thought he was so good in that role. So for me, it's GOAT.
Bubba, what do you think? I mean, you're going to be the determining factor here, whether it's going to be good, great, GOAT.
I liked it because it more or less put its character storyline on Wolverine, and it made Wolverine a pivotal part of X-Men.
Okay.
And that's the way, no offense to me, X-Men is in the comic books. I've always been a big, huge Wolverine fan, and I think it was a lot better than the first one.
Okay.
So
Okay,
I
so
will
GOAT
think,
it is.
yeah. And there's not going to be too many goats in these
No.
categories here.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm trying to remember. I've only seen it once, so I'm really trying to remember back 20 years, 22 years, guys. So, yeah, let's go to next on the list is Blade Trinity, where we see Wade Wilson for the first time, if I remember correctly. Cable, what are your thoughts?
Ryan Reynolds is in it, but he's not playing Wade
He's not
Wilson.
Wade Wilson. Okay.
He's playing Jonathan, one of the vampire hunters.
That's right. That's where he was. Okay. So this is what I know.
Blade Trinity.
Actually had Triple H in it too.
Yeah, it did.
Yep.
I'm going to say bad. Some parts of it, Ryan Reynolds is always going to be entertaining in anything he's in, more or less. Like Bubba said, cool pop out of me to see Triple H in it, and Blade's always going to have good action scenes. But the plot, I much as I like them bringing Dracula in, it just didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't do it for me.
It's definitely probably the worst one of the three. So. Bubba?
I would say bad.
Yeah.
I thought it was cheesy. Triple H with his little dog was cheesy. It just wasn't a good way to a trilogy. They were trying to make Ryan Reynolds was trying to be funny.
Yeah.
It had Chris Christopherson was in. He was in the first movie too. I think he was in this third movie. I think he was.
I know he died at some point.
He died in the third one, or he died in the first
one? He dies in the first one, but then they bring him back somehow for the second one. And I think he dies in the second one, but I can't remember. But Jessica Biel was in it. She didn't talk.
Yeah, she looks good.
Yeah, I would say bad.
Yeah, I agree. Not much debate for me on that. So
right.
Moving on. Next on our list is The Punisher from 2004. Where does that hit for you, boys? Bubba, go first. Hit us up.
I think The Punisher with Thomas Jane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was good. I like that they had Kevin Nash as the Russian. Now they didn't have Microchip, but they had John Travolta, and I'm gonna say it was good, not great.
Okay,
it was good.
Okay,
I like Thomas Jane. I like Thomas Jane as the Punisher. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thomas Jane was good as a Punisher for him not being an over the top, like a John Bernthal type portrayal.
Yeah.
Right.
He was good in that. I agree with good. Gets points for being a very good Punisher story that kind of stuck to the true origin of Punisher, more or less. Him building himself up as the Punisher, I thought was portrayed really well in the movie. Kevin Nash was great as the Russian for that short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
But good, not terrible, nothing like that. Kind of forgettable in a sense. He's outdone by Punisher of the future actors, but yeah, I'll go with good.
All right, so Bubba, what do you think? Good.
Good. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Next up is the Spider-Man 2. I know this is going to be either good, great, or goat for you guys. So just Cable, you go first.
Goat. One of the best superhero movies ever made. You know, it
Okay.
took a great first movie and just did everything that much better. Alfred Molina's portrayal of Doctor Octopus is so good in that movie. You know, even though it kind of breaks traditions of Doctor Octopus character, I like how the arms were almost sentient. You know, in the scene where he's at the hospital and they're trying to cut the arms off and they start defending themselves, and it's all
Oh yeah.
Sam Raimi essentially going back to his horror roots for that scene. Yeah, no notes. Almost a perfect movie. One of the best superhero movies ever made in my eyes.
Woo! That's high praise. Bubba, go ahead. I'm gonna have to
Well,
agree with Cable.
me personally, I like the characterization of Doc Ock. I would, to me, it's been a long time since I've seen it, but I don't think it was GOAT to me. I think the first one, because it was there, but I think it was really great. I'm going to go with great.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna leave it in goat. It's kind of like between goat and great. I think I like the first one better, but I out of these three, I think for this one, I think there's only gonna be 4 or 5 at the max that are goat. Uh, so we'll leave it up there. Maybe change it later. But moving on. Next up, Elektra. What do you think? 2005.
All
Cable,
just
do you want
hot
to
garbage.
go? You want to go, Cable, on that one?
Yeah, let's fill up this hot garbage for the first time here.
That's where I'm going to go to.
Okay, I agree. That's an easy.
Fucking terrible. Fucking terrible.
That's a layup. That's a
She's
layup for you
terrible.
guys.
She's terrible at any super. Even though she came back in the MCU, I still think she's fucking hot garbage. I don't think she has any look of the Elektra character. It's just she just doesn't do it for me. Jennifer Gardner is not a superhero in the Marvel world, just in my opinion.
Hey
I
guys,
didn't.
go ahead.
I was going to say I didn't mind her in the Daredevil movie, but
Really?
her leading her own movie with that much more exposure and trying to carry a film, it didn't click for me.
Well, the hot garbage it is. So next up, and I think this might be hot garbage. You guys might disagree because I'm not a huge Fantastic Four fan, but you guys are shills for it. So let's go with 2005 Fantastic Four. Bubba, go first.
I'm gonna go. I just. I mean, I like.
Nice.
I liked Evans as the Human Torch, and Jennifer Abba. You know, I mean, she was smoking hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like how they put Doctor Doom in there, and
yeah. Cable,
so
what do you think? Is bad, hot garbage?
I'm actually going to go good.
Okay.
So the first one gets a good from me. When I think back to that movie, there's a lot of things they did not do well with that. It's definitely not the worst out of the live action Fantastic Four films we've gotten so far. I definitely want Disney to hit a home run. I think it can be improved on. But the general consensus in my mind when I think back to the original one is fun. You got Michael Chiklis in the foam thing suit.
Yeah.
I think the design of Doctor Doom is fantastic in that movie. That's one of the best character designs that we've gotten in that era of superhero movies. So, I'll say fun. I'm going to say good, but curious to see what you think.
I would give it a meh because it doesn't really hit for me. But what puts it up into the good, we're going to leave it in the good, is you had a key character in here. Fast forward 20 years, it was in the Deadpool movie. So just because Mr. Captain America made an appearance, he was then playing Johnny Storm, made an appearance in Deadpool as Johnny Storm. I'm gonna leave it in the good because that made me laugh. So there we go. That's the only one I have a strong opinion on. Let's move on to X-Men Last Stand. Cable, go. Hit us up. What do you think?
Now, I haven't revisited this in a long time.
Yeah.
Uh, I think it's just barely going to escape hot garbage for me. I'm
Okay.
not a fan of this one at all.
Yeah.
It's got some cool things about it, but in general, as a movie, Dark Phoenix is one of the most important storylines in the history of X-Men, certainly, and potentially Marvel Comics in general as a whole. And we're going to have the same point later on in this ranking, but to butcher one of their most important storylines and try to combine it with a whole other storyline with getting rid of the cure for mutant kind,
Yeah.
it's such a mess.
So before we hand it over to you, Bubba, I'll just say this. It would be the equivalent of a Western. At the end, there's a duel, and they draw their pistols, and instead of hearing a bang, it's fart sounds. That's what it was with Dark Phoenix. I don't know much about comics, but I know that she is so powerful. They didn't even do it justice in that movie. So, Bubba, go ahead.
This movie is hot garbage. This is the worst display of the Dark Phoenix. Every time that they try to get it on movies, they can't do it right. The best Dark Phoenix saga is in the animated series.
Yeah.
And they can't get it right, and they need to quit doing it. And I didn't like how Juggernaut, and I just didn't like all that. I didn't like that.
Yeah.
It just wasn't, and Charles, gets killed. I saw it once, and I didn't need to see it again because it's not that good. And
Cyclops gets killed.
Yeah, it just wasn't good at all.
Yeah, I agree. That's I think we'll put it in hot garbage. It's just pretty bad. Speaking about bad, we got another Fantastic Four here. Where does it hit for you, Cable?
It's dancing between hot garbage and bad. It's back and forth. The movie itself isn't a terrible movie, and still today, when you watch it, if you ever do for whatever reason, Silver Surfer actually still holds up.
Yeah.
I believe it's Lawrence Fishburne that does the voice. Great job with the voice acting, well animated. But for everything that I liked or didn't like about it, I just cannot not get past the Galactus portrayal in that. He's a big fart cloud in the sky. So I think we're going to settle on hot garbage.
Okay. Bubba, what do you think?
Well, I'm going to piggyback off of what Cable said about the Silver Surfer. The actor who played him was a good character actor, Jones. And then Fishburne was the voice. And it just, way they portrayed Galactus like that was terrible, and it didn't flow, and it could have been a better story, but it was not. And I will put it, even though the surfer is Norman Rad, I'm still putting it in as hot garbage.
Yeah, I agree, boys. I think that's where it should be. We're still in the hot garbage train. I'm going to start off with this one.
This is terrible, though. This is bad. You feel these movies would be something when you watch them and you go spend money.
No.
God damn,
there's maybe a couple that are worse than this on here, and I'm saying Ghost Rider is between bad and hot garbage. Boys, convince me that it's not bad. Convince me it's meh. Is it hot garbage? Is it bad? Is it meh? Did you like it?
Wait, the original Ghost Rider?
Yeah, the original. This Ghost Rider right here.
Yeah, the original Ghost Rider, I'm going to say meh.
Okay.
But very close to a good for me. Like a lot of the movies of this era, it's fun. Effects might not hold up now, but at the time they were really good. Seeing that flaming skull finally come to life, riding his flaming bike. And then you have, I believe this is the one where he has not a vision, but you see one of the original Ghost Riders on horseback.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Phantom Rider.
And
that was Sam Elliott.
Okay.
oh, yeah, it was. You're
Yeah,
right.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Yes, can't go wrong with Sam
And
Elliott.
Sam Elliott. That might take me up. Meh.
you know, you have Nicolas Cage kind of at the start of his decline of just taking any roles that come his way, and he plays it with that kind of character, reckless abandon that he's known for. I think it's not too much overdone, so I think it's enjoyable enough. But I'll settle on meh.
Bubba, take us home. What do you think?
I'm gonna say good, because they actually get the origin story kind of right, you know, because he was a circus performer and stuff like that. It had Peter Fonda
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
as
That's one of the.
Mephisto. You know,
Sorry to
he
interrupt you,
didn't
but
say
one of the,
he didn't say he was Mephisto, but that
yes.
he was Mephisto. So, and then they had like I said, Sam Elliott, Nicolas Cage. I'm going to say good, based on the fact I never thought we'd have a Ghost Rider movie.
Yeah.
And I do like Ghost Rider. I do collect I have the first appearance of Ghost Rider in comic books. That doesn't mean anything, but I'm going to go with good. And I might get outvoted, but that's okay.
Okay. Did he convince you, Cable, or are we going to leave it meh?
So what I was going to say, you know, you have Mephisto and you have Blackheart also, and they're so inaccurate to their typical portrayals, which this is usually the bubble line of thinking, that I can't quite forgive them for
I think
not
it's
giving
meh.
up. So I'm going to stick with Matt.
I am too, Bubba. I'm sorry, but it's just
That's
meh
okay.
for me. Let's go on to the next one.
I'm not gonna cry. I'm good.
Here's
The
Spider.
whole thing fucks me off from the last time. Still.
Yeah. Spider-Man 3. Are you guys gonna sing its praises? Bubba, you go first. Hit us up with where you think old Spidey 3 is gonna be.
Oh, it was bad for me because I didn't like the portrayal of Venom. I didn't like Eric Foreman as fucking Eddie Brock. So right there and then, fucking, I just think it's bad. It could have been so much better. And they could have had somebody, a better actor, play Eddie, and then I just didn't like that. So, and then he had the thing where he turns, you know, he was doing that little fucking dance in the cabaret there, and he thought he was badass because the symbiote was, you know, feeding off of him, giving an attitude. I didn't like that, but I didn't like that Tober Grace was Eddie Brock, and I think it was bad. The end of the trilogy on a bad note.
Well, Cable's going to tell us how he really feels. Cable, go ahead, hit us up with what you think the old Spidey 3 from 2007.
Yep, 2007. How I feel is how Bubba feels. I agree with pretty much everything Bubba said there. The portrayal of Venom was god awful. You know, he wasn't even supposed to be in the movie originally. It was only supposed to be Sandman, and the studio interfered, which is crazy because you got Sam Raimi, you know, that's a director of his level that did what he did with Spider-Man 1 and 2, massive hits. Why are you giving him any notes? Why are you getting involved? Clearly, he knows what he's doing. So they shoehorned Venom in. They went with like the Ultimate Marvel version depiction of Venom instead of the classic one.
Yeah.
Like Paul said, when he's under the influence of the symbiote, they try to do all this edgy stuff with him, and it's so cringy then, but even more now. It's even worse when you go back and watch it. It feels like a cartoon almost. Yeah, so there wasn't a whole lot that they did well in that movie. So I'm going to say bad.
Yeah, boys, I agree. That's an easy one. Let's just move on to Punisher from 2008. Is this going to be any better? Are we getting up into the man?
Is this the War Zone?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead,
Great.
Bubba. You tell.
I think it was great.
Okay.
Because they had Ray Stevenson as the Punisher,
yeah.
and he just started killing people, and that was a sign of how the Punisher should have been in the movies. But we got a little bit more better with Berthenol in the in the MCU, but that was the start of how he was supposed to be.
Cable?
So you're going to hear this from me later on more. This is the first time you're hearing it. I've never watched this movie.
Okay. I'm gonna have to, yeah.
Go ahead.
You never saw it ever.
Yeah, I didn't like the recast. I didn't give it a chance, and I have heard a lot of what Bubba's saying. I hear that it's aged pretty good, and people were actually very receptive to the portrayal. And you have Jigsaw in it, and his effects are pretty gnarly looking, and prosthetics and whatnot. But at that time, I just wasn't willing to give it a chance, and I've never gone back.
I remember it being a good movie. I don't remember it being great. I'm just gonna have to lean towards Bubba because I don't have anything to counter that. So great's where it's gonna stand. But the fact that you didn't see it probably will pull it down to a good, because if it's, I don't know, if it's a good movie, usually three of us have all seen it, but I don't know. Maybe
I liked it. I thought it was good. I mean,
okay,
because it was,
we'll
it was
great.
action, but
Yeah, good and great. 2009, we get X-Men Origins Wolverine. I'll start off. I thought this was great. I love this one. Cable?
Okay. I'm going to counter with hot garbage.
Okay.
I absolutely hate this movie. I hate what they did with Deadpool.
Oh, yeah,
That
that's right. Yep, I remember
that
that.
drives me crazy.
Too bad.
And I try to be fair somewhat, but in 2009, the effects were like 2002 era. The
Oh,
scene
okay.
where Wolverine's, swiping his claws together in the mirror, and it looks like PlayStation 2 graphics still is burned in my brain. To me, there's nothing good about this movie that sticks in my head, short of Leaf Schreiber's portrayal of Sabretooth. I thought he was really good in that role.
yeah.
I would have liked to see him come back and reprise that instead of Tyler Mane. But I don't like that they changed the origins and made them brothers. There's a lot there that I don't like about it. So for me, it's hot garbage.
Bubba, we canceled each other out, so it's up to you.
I didn't like what they did with Wade Wilson. I thought it was terrible. I thought it was fucking just idiotic.
Bad or hot garbage?
I didn't like the brother situation either. Oh, I thought it was hot garbage, and I saw it in the movie theater. I didn't like it at all.
All right.
I mean, I still have it in my collection because it's, you know what I mean. But
I think I was just thinking back to Liv. His brother. It was really good in that. Sabretooth. I thought I liked that, but thinking back with Deadpool, that was pretty cringy. So, let's go to number. Oh, this is X-Men First Class. Is that the next one on the list?
That sounds right because Origins was 2009. I think the only thing they put out in 2010 was Iron Man 2, so MCU. So in
Yeah.
2011,
which one was Wolverine when he fought the Silver Samurai?
That's 2013 for Wolverine.
Okay.
That's the one I think I was thinking about with this Origins one.
Okay. All right. So First Class.
Yeah.
I'll jump on this one. I'm going to say great.
Okay.
I love this movie. I love that they went back as much of detractor for the last previous X-Men movie, the Wolverine Origins, as I was. I thought this was a breath of fresh air. Love the casting. Jennifer Lawrence, Mystique, Michael Fassbender as Magneto is amazing. James McAvoy is Charles. So I love the plot. I love the setting in the 60s. Tie it in to the Cuban Missile Crisis. Make it interact with real world events. I absolutely loved it. I say great.
And is that the one where Wolverine's drinking in a bar, like in the 60s? Yeah, this is a good
when
one.
they're trying to put a team together. Yeah.
Go ahead, Bubba. What do you think?
I'm going to piggyback off of Cable and say the exact same thing. First Class is, to me, one of the better X-Men movies from the last couple that we got. I thought it was some fresh air, and I love Fassbender as Magneto, and you've seen how Charles got got the bullet and got paralyzed, and it was just it was good. And Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, it had a different approach with Mystique being an X-Men, which she wasn't in the comic book until later, and not even then because she's always been evil. But yeah, I think it's GOAT material in an X-Men world, which the X-Men, even though they made a lot of movies, to me they weren't that good.
Okay, GOAT material. I guess that leaves it up to me. I think we could put it between GOAT and great. There's not a lot between the GOAT and great, so I think I enjoyed that more than probably any X-Men movie we have here, so we'll put it up there. Next is Ghost Rider 2. Yes, folks, they made 2 of these movies. So, Bubba, what are you thinking for
this
Ghost?
is fucking below hot garbage. This is fucking shits. It's the shits. It's fucking terrible, man. It's god awful.
Cable, what do you think?
That's all I got.
Agreed. I've seen it once, and I barely remember anything from it. I think that was my brain trying to protect itself.
Yeah, I think I just had a amnesia after walking out of the theater. So 2012, The Amazing Spider-Man. Cable, what do you think of this one?
Good. I liked it. I like Andrew Garfield. If you got to go the route and reboot Spider-Man already, 5 years after the last one, Andrew Garfield, I thought, played him really well. I love Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy.
Yeah.
I love the back to the high school setting with the reboot. Lizard was really cool to see him on screen for the first time. Thought it had a pretty good story. Dennis Leary as Gwen's father was good. No complaints. The only thing that I wasn't crazy about was seeing his parents at the beginning, finding out, that they were secret agents, which I think might be the Ultimate Universe.
They were secret agents in the comic books later on in the Amazing Spider-Man.
Oh, were they? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, at the time, I wasn't a big fan of that, but it's such a small thing, so I'm gonna go good.
Yeah, I don't have. I remember it as good too. So let's just leave it there, guys. That's a good spot to stop with that Spider-Man. I don't think there's any more Spider-Mans on this list, is there?
There should.
Yeah, one more.
Yeah, there is. I'm gonna say good too.
Okay.
On the Spider-Man. I went to see that in movie theater.
I'm gonna have to find another Spider-Man.
Yeah, the Spider-Man was with Electro.
Okay.
Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, I remember that one. So next we have X-Men from 2014. And if you ever wanted to squint even harder than you already have before to see the blue boob, but you're looking right here at this poster thinking, okay, which one, who's playing this? And it's Jennifer Lawrence again, right?
Days of Future Past.
Yeah.
I'll jump on this one. For me, this is GOAT. I think this is the best X-Men movie ever made. This was the reason why I didn't put First Class as GOAT, because I knew this one was going to come in at GOAT for me. I love the merging of the storylines, timelines, bringing the original cast in with the new cast. You get to see more of Fassbender, McAvoy, and Jennifer Lawrence. That's like the X-Men casting trio. I love the placement in time, the 70s, everything they did. It's almost a perfect movie for me.
All right, Bubba, what do you think?
I like it too, but I already put the First Class as GOAT, and I'm not going to have 2 in the same category. And they actually had Hugh Jackman a little bit more in this movie, which incorporated, so I'm going to say it's great. The First Class X-Men franchise these 2 movies here are probably the best X-Men movies out of the whole franchise.
So these 2 are split for us, guys. We have a split decision, and I'm not weighing in on them because they could go either way for me. So depending on how the wind blows, these 2 could be interchanged.
Well, Shane, put whatever you think, so you can put it in.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to put it for now. I think that's a good spot. This X-Men from 2014 from the 70s, I think would just edge out this just a little bit. But the X-Men, Days of Future Past. Is that what this one is? I think this one
Yeah.
would be definitely top of the great tier. All right, let's move on to Deadpool.
Well,
Bubba,
we missed one.
what one do we miss?
The Wolverine, the second Wolverine solo movie.
Yeah,
Oh, I don't have it on here.
that's why it's hot garbage. So
Yeah. So what did you rank it? I don't have it on my list.
I put it hot
Okay.
garbage.
I put it good. I like the storyline. I like seeing him in Japan. I like,
I
he's
I
mortal,
enjoyed it.
essentially.
I enjoyed it. So, uh, yeah, I'm not going to download it and try to put it in here. Maybe we'll put it in a little bit later. But yeah, we'll just put. I would say meh. It was. I enjoyed.
I didn't like how the villains were. You know
Oh,
what I
come on,
mean? And
Bubba.
I didn't. I thought it was cheesy. And he could have been. It could have been a little better because they were trying to do the Wolverine miniseries in the comic book, and they didn't get it right. They were trying it, but it just to me. And at the end there, he opened the suitcase and had the brown suit. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that might have been the icing on that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, because when you get to the other Wolverine movie, that's the icing on the cake.
Okay. So we'll have
Before
that
Deadpool
before Deadpool.
is
Go ahead.
the Amazing Spider-Man 2, the sequel with Andrew Garfield.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me do this. Let me rename this. Okay, I'll put another Spider-Man in there. So I'm just.
We don't have too many people commenting on my Facebook because it's my Facebook is I'm the only one watching the goddamn show.
So this is I'm putting this in for Spider-Man 2 as a placeholder. Sorry guys.
That's okay.
Can't download it quick enough. So where would you put that one?
Spider-Man 2 for me is hot garbage. I hate the portrayal of Electro. I don't think the only thing good in it to me is Gwen and Peter's storyline. And you get the night that Gwen Stacy died, and I thought that was handled very well. Obviously, Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone have a ton of chemistry. They did it in real life. The scene when she dies and his performance in that is so good. But that to me is the only thing good about that movie.
All right, Bubba, what do you think?
I think the way of the Paul Giamatti as a Rhino was fucking bullshit. At the end, Jamie Foxx as Electro was terrible. The villains were god awful. I just thought, and they were setting up the Sinister Six, and that didn't happen. And I would just say a bad movie. It was a bad movie.
Okay, well we'll put it in bad. Yeah, I can see that. So next on the list is Deadpool, the original Deadpool. I think it was a breath of fresh air when it came out. Never thought it would be made. It was made because people just bitched and moaned on the interwebs, and there you have it. So, Cable, what do you think?
Oh, let's go GOAT. We're not going to go up to that tier much more as we go on. So let's take another trip to GOAT, like you said.
Yeah.
Whoever thought you would get that accurate of a portrayal of Deadpool? Just a sign of the times of where comic movies are allowed to actually be comic movies. You also alluded to the fact that we almost didn't get it. Fox almost canned it, and more than likely, it still hasn't been confirmed, but more than likely, Ryan Reynolds leaked their test footage out online.
He did it on purpose, man.
Right. And that created such buzz and goodwill on the internet that the voices couldn't be denied, and they made the movie. And it's one of the best origin stories in Marvel movies. His and Vanessa's relationship, the humor is spot on. It's almost perfect, like I said a few times here.
I thought Weasel was great in it. Bubba, what do you think?
Well, the Weasel will never be in it again because they had a falling out in real life. Yeah. I believe it is one of the greatest portrayals of a character. This is Ryan Reynolds' greatest role ever. He's never going to do any other role besides this to get it down right. I would say GOAT. Also, the action scene, when he's sitting up on top of the bridge and stuff, and and then they incorporated that action scene to the other action scene that we did with the MCU with Deadpool Wolverine. I mean, to me, it's a GOAT. So I'll put it in the GOAT
Absolutely.
category.
Let's not even wait. You can't even. It's definitely one of my absolute favorites, and of all the movies. But 2016, you had another movie come out, X-Men Apocalypse. I can't really recall how I feel about it, so I'm just going to defer to you guys. I did see it. Cable, what do you think?
I'm gonna say bad. I had such high hopes for it. Apocalypse is one of my favorite Marvel villains of all time. Oscar Isaac gets cast to play him. You're continuing the younger generation. You're in the 80s now with the characters, the actors they brought in, Fassbender and all of them. His scene with his daughter and his wife being accidentally murdered, his acting was so top tier in that. But the rest of the movie, I hated the portrayal of the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. I thought they were done very poorly. So for as forward as I was looking to that movie, as high hopes as I had, it definitely comes in at bad.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Bubba, what do you think? Bad?
Oh, I think it was hot garbage. That one there is the worst out of the First Class movie trilogies. It could have been so much better. Hopefully, when it's in the MCU now, it has Apocalypse has some kind of redemption arc, and the character gets a little better. It was just terrible. I didn't like it. Fassbender was the only good thing of, one of the good things in the whole movie. And I think
you think this is the worst out of the First Class?
What's that?
You think this is the worst? Because we still got one more to go from the First Class movie.
Well, that's not even fucking ranked on this fucking thing.
I don't even think I have I don't have the other one on there. I don't even think I have on the list. So
fucking terrible.
It's so bad. So
yeah, I just say hot garbage with Apocalypse. So out of the four, so it's 2-1. So right now,
all right, we'll move it down.
It off.
Now, guys, next on the list is 2017's Logan. It's one of my favorites. Please break my heart. Tell me you hated it.
I don't want to lie. Why would I do that? It's GOAT.
GOAT.
That's probably one of the best. That's the best R-rated movie at one time in superheroes. That was they had it really, really. That was his best. That's the best Wolverine movie of all. Even when he was in any X-Men movie, this is the best one. So
rewatchability is up there. It's a fantastic movie to watch a few times.
And that was his end. I mean, he wasn't going to do it again.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So he poured his heart and soul into this, and that's what he did. And I mean, I honestly, wasn't he going to try? Wasn't he going to get like an Academy or wasn't he get nominated or something or no?
He had like some sort of like Golden Globe or something like that.
I think GOAT is.
Cable says it's GOAT. I say it's a GOAT. GOAT it is. Bubba, GOAT. So we're on the same page. Now let's go from the top tier to the sewers. Venom, 2018.
I'll start the ball on this one. I'm battling between bad and meh.
Yeah.
I remember watching it and being surprised that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. And then, in hindsight, I think I honestly went in with the expectations so low that it wasn't the worst movie I had ever seen. So I was like, oh, that wasn't bad, but on a revisit and then kind of compounded by the sequels and stuff, I actually hate Tom Hardy's portrayal as Venom. He's goofy. Like, he plays him like an old man. Like, he's always groaning. Like, it's a very odd portrayal that he did of him.
I love Tom Hardy. Yeah.
They didn't do Eddie Brock justice.
Exactly.
Brock, and that was
kind of like a bumbling oaf, and right. There's cool stuff about it, but I think I'm gonna rest on bad.
Yeah. Bubba, meh, bad. What do you think?
I'm gonna say bad. I mean, the Venom character
Uh-huh.
looked better than the fucking Spider-Man one in Sony. He was bulkier and stuff, but it just they didn't. First off, they don't have fucking Peter Parker in any of these, so to me, they're always going to be fucking terrible anyway.
Yep.
And so I'm going to say bad.
I agree, guys. So we'll put it in bad. Dark Phoenix from 2019.
If you can go lower than hot garbage, that's where it belongs.
Well, shit in the bottom of the ocean. The worst.
Yeah, let's not even talk about it.
Worst fucking movie, probably in Marvel. It could be one of the worst. In Howard the Duck is better in this fucking movie.
The garbage can is getting full. So I'm just telling you.
When the Last Stand came out in their attempt at the Dark Phoenix storyline, Fox said, "Hold my beer," and 13 years later, did it even worse.
Oh,
well, talking about something worse. So, how about the New Mutants 2020?
I can't lie. I did not see it, but I do collect the New Mutants in comic books, and I don't like that premise of that. It's not a horror based whatever they did.
Yeah, I watched.
I didn't see it, so I can't.
10 minutes and I turned it off. It's so bad. And there's other ones on the list, the same type of thing. I tried, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't stomach it. Cable?
All right, so as the sole person to sit through the entire movie, it's between bad and hot garbage. One point of the movie that I actually very much liked was Anya Taylor-Joy's portrayal of Magic. You guys won't know what I'm talking about, but she played it perfect. She was perfectly cast, looks just like her.
Colossus' sister?
Yeah. So they nailed that in the movie, but yeah, everything else I was not a fan. So I'll say bad, but it's going to average down to hot garbage anyway.
And she wasn't even an original member of the New Mutants.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You know, Cannonball and Dana, and then Banshee, and and they had the blue and yellow uniforms. So I hated that when they did the horror shit. So
I'm gonna move in this with this Venom. Was it Venom? What was this? Venom Carnage? I think it was.
What's Carnage?
I'm gonna say this was bad. I did watch it. It wasn't like so bad I had to turn it off, but it was pretty bad. Bubba, what do you think?
As Carnage's character should have been because he was a serial killer, and he should have been just diabolical in that movie. And Woody Harrelson, they cast the right person for the role, but they didn't let him play. They didn't let him play him.
Yeah,
and that was what ruined it. And they should have went R-rated with this. But also, too, once again, no Spider-Man. So Woody Harrelson, great role as that character, but didn't let him do it. So I still think it was hot garbage.
Cable?
I agree. I agree with everything Bubba said. I didn't have a ton of expectations after the first one, but they did have the post-credit scene with Woody Harrelson as Cletus. And in the post-credit scene of the first one, he was much closer to design-wise Cletus's design. And then he comes in, he looks completely different in this movie. He just looks like such a douchebag. And like you said, Bubba, perfect casting. I mean, if you have, I'm blanking on the movie, but the Natural Born Killers. Woody Harrelson, you killed it, but you don't let him do that. And, you have the symbiote suit going on Eddie's girlfriend at one point, and, more of Eddie's portrayal. I think I mentioned this in the MCU tier ranking, but a thing I think is done way too often is they take villains and turn them into anti-heroes just so they can make properties out of them. Mm-hmm. And I hate that trope. I don't like Venom, even though I know at this point he's been an anti-hero longer than he was a villain. I don't like Venom as an anti-hero. So, hot garbage all around for me.
That's the easy one. We have a lot left on this list that are hot garbage. Let's roll into another one I thought was hot garbage. I watched half of this. I got through half, about an hour. Morbius.
Fucking
Bubba, what do you
should
think?
have never even made a movie of this. He's a supporting character, and that's all he should have been in a Spider-Man movie. And he should have never even had his own fucking movie. And Sony is so fucking stupid, even though I'm sitting in my house. You know what I mean? But I'm not rich or nothing like that. But god damn, it was terrible. Leto as Morbius supporting character. That's all he is. It's a shit show.
Cable. What's your honest opinion?
My honest opinion, I didn't watch the movie. This is the movie that broke me. This was the first Sony verse movie that I did not watch, and I have not watched a single one yet. Going forward, spoilers for the rest of the ranking. I couldn't think of a more useless Spider-Man character to try and base an entire movie on. Like Bubba said, Jared Leto, good actor in certain roles. He looks like Morbius, but you know, to put this much effort into I still can't believe the words coming out of my mouth that they made a Morbius movie. Like, and then it bombed huge, like everybody knew it was going to. It became a meme. It's a laughing stock of Hollywood.
Yeah, well, that's the only good thing about it, Cable, is Morbius, the first appearance of Morbius, went down in price because the fucking movie sucked. So that's the only good thing. Yeah, I mean, if you're a comic book collector and you need fucking Amazing Spider-Man issue 103, well, goddamn, you could probably get a good price because the movie sucked.
Right, and I was so against this movie, I had my mind made up. I had a standing order to go see every single superhero movie that came out by this point. I knew I was never going to see it in theaters, probably never going to watch it ever. So I just went online and read the plot and read the post-credit scene, which to this day still makes me so angry that they take this great portrayal by Michael Keaton, that's one of the best MCU villain portrayals ever. You pull him in to play games with the timelines and universe, multiverse, parallel universes, which just putting the Morbius stink on Michael Keaton's Vulture makes me so mad. So, it has to be hot garbage.
Yeah, guys, we're going to beat this dead horse with Madam Web from 2024. Or want to go Kraven the Hunter? Which one do you want to hit first?
Madam Web was first, release order.
I watched all of 20 minutes, so I'm going to say hot garbage.
You did better than me because I had it on for 2 minutes and I shut it the fuck off, and I have never seen it. Because Madam Web is like 85 fucking years old, another supporting character of Spider-Man's ally, and that's what it should have been. But these dumb motherfuckers from Sony fucking everything up, trying to, squeeze every fucking penny they can out of the Spider-Verse world is just terrible. And they had Dakota Johnson or whatever the hell her name is. The only good thing is that Sweeney girl, but they should make her Black Cat in the MCU, and then we actually get to see some good stuff,
Yeah. Cable, I mean, do you want to weigh in on any of these, like Kraven or Venom?
Didn't waste my time. Like you said, I didn't watch a single second of it, so you guys got me beat.
I did watch Kraven, like probably 90% of it, and it was bad. It was bad. Is it on the order of Morbius and Madam Web or Venom or New Mutants? I don't know.
Actually, I think Kraven is better than all those fucking movies.
Yeah, I would have to agree.
And once again, Kraven is a supporting character.
But he's not interesting. There's no character, like, it's just like, okay.
But you know why he's not interesting is because Anthony Johnson is not a good fucking actor.
He's not a badass either in the movie. It's like, okay, you talk to fucking animals. Who cares?
Well, I mean, he actually killed. I mean, it was brutal. It was rated R. The Rhino looked like the Rhino, but the Rhino is not.
He had that injection going into his body all the time.
That's not how the Rhino is, though.
The Rhino's the Rhino all the time, right?
Right. Yes. He does not have an injection. He's not a fucking drug cartel guy.
Let's put it down. Let's put it.
I mean, I would say
Oh my God, hot garbage got freaking 2 rows now, kid.
I would say out of Craven, because I watched the whole way through because I had Russell Crowe as his dad, and it had actually the Chameleon. His brother is actually the Chameleon, so they
So
actually
you're
got
saying
that
bad?
right.
Is it bad or hot
No.
garbage?
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say meh,
Oh, okay. Well, let's put
Wow.
it bad.
because I seen the whole thing and it was very violent. I mean, it was violent. I mean, he
Okay.
fucking killed a lot of fucking people in that movie.
Yeah, he's still boring.
But he's not a vigilante,
No.
and that's what they made him. They made him like a vigilante, and that's not the case. But out of all these Sony movies, this is probably the better of all of them, which is surprising.
Past
Let's throw
couple
in my 2 cents real quick here. One pet peeve of mine also that we're running into is Sony, only thinking about Sony, not giving a fuck about anything. And they cast Quicksilver's actor as Craven,
Terrible.
which they do the same thing in Venom: The Last Dance. You have Baron Mordo and the Lizard from the Amazing Spider-Man movie cast in these roles. So, Sony is just fucked when it comes to making these movies, in my opinion. And, that's just my 2 cents there.
They could mess up anything. So speaking about messing up anything, 2024's Venom. Bubba, give us your take, and then
Well,
I'll
he
tell
was
you
in
where
the MCU for a fucking brief second. The soccer guy bartender from Ted Lasso, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they, they had a little bit of Symbiont on the fucking bar, and
Yep.
Baron Mordo fucking came in and took it. It was fucking hot garbage. And they fucked up. No, they fucked him up. Like you'll never fucking see him. You know what I mean? Like that is one of the baddest of the bad of fucking villains, and you'll never see him.
And here's a hot take on the end to end the show, and then Bubba and Cable, let me know what you think. I really think that some of these Sony movies are, freaking monstrosities that they tried to freaking push down our throat have damaged the MCU because of this shit. I think it's watered down, and the MCU is also a little watered down. I think the people are getting a little apathetic. You have people that are diehards, like Cable, will see anything, and now he's to the point where he won't watch some of these movies that are coming out. Bubba, what do you think?
Oh, I agree with you. Sony has no idea what they're doing. They should sell the fucking Spider-Man franchise to Disney and let MCU do it right, and Kevin Feige do it right, and give all these characters and fucking brand them and repolish them, because they can't use certain characters. They can only use the Kingpin in the TV shows and can't use them in the movies. Like, it's stupid. Like, and it's god awful. And look at that. I mean, all these fucking movies of superhero stuff, and most of them are fucking terrible. And there's you got the whole storylines from fucking comic books. You know what I mean? Like, how can you fuck up? You don't have to keep the whole thing at a comic book thing, but you got to make it fucking pleasing to the fans, and they don't give a fuck. They don't care.
So it's Friday night, Cable. Out of the movies that you haven't seen, what's the movie, if you're forced to watch something for an hour, you would watch? Out of the ones you haven't seen, you're forced. Gun to your head.
Well, it's probably going to be Punisher Warzone, because I actually hear good things about that, But more into the nature of your question, out of the ones that actually suck, it would probably be Craven. I actually thought it didn't look bad from the trailer, but like what you guys said, I hate that Craven got his own movie, and then hearing the reviews once it came out solidified my stance on not seeing it. But
I agree, Afton. Yeah, the storytelling is terrible.
Well, that's all I have from the tier maker.
The tier maker. That's
Bubba and
good.
Cable, back to you guys.
Well, no, great job, Shane. Great job. I mean, well, go through it, Shane, before we get out of here, and go through and go from the bottom up.
Well, I'm thinking the worst of this is like actually these ones at the end, because these ones were just bad because of either, we'll give them a little bit of grace because they're so old,
Yeah.
But I think, guys, we have Logan and Deadpool in the top spot here, followed by which X-Men was this? The X-Men from 2014?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is Spider-Man from 2004. This is X2. Then we got the OG Spider-Man. And then in great, we got Blade, X-Men, The Punisher. You got X-Men from Future Past. Is that what it is? Is that Future Past?
No, First Class.
First class. Now in the good, you have Blade 2, Punisher, Fantastic Four, and this is Spider-Man from 2012. Now this Spider-Man down here in bad is Spider-Man 3 from 20. What was that?
2007.
Yeah, okay, that was yeah, that's right. And then Craven and Ghost Rider are meh. Now in the bad, we have Daredevil, Hulk, Blade. This is not the original Blade, is it?
No,
Yeah,
that's the
No,
third one. That's Blade
that's the
Trinity.
Trinity, Blade Trinity. We got Spider-Man 3. Is that Spider-Man 3? Yeah, from 2007.
Venom, yeah.
And then Venom. We have it as bad. Now in the hot garbage, we kind of have two tiers hot garbage. Over here, I think is the below hot garbage with Morbius, Madam Web, the last Venom. Last two Venoms are probably in that
I
category.
think it starts probably a Ghost Rider and just goes down.
Yeah, I would agree. This is like lukewarm garbage, and this is steaming hot garbage you just can't even smell. There we go, kids. That is an hour and 20 minutes of. I'm pretty depressed after reading the bad and the hot garbage. I mean,
yeah, I don't even half these movies I have in my collection. I don't even want to watch again.
That's
Yeah. But you can always look to the shining beacons and the goat and great tiers, and with the sweet is never sweet without the sour. So
yeah.
you can go back and enjoy that stuff.
That's true. That's very true. That's very true.
Well, Bubba, Tuesday we have our show on the Steelers Dynasty with Mark.
Yep. And we Wednesday nights at 9:00 like clockwork, except for this weekend because we had the power outage at my house.
It went 9:15. Yeah.
It was 9:15. We were at 4:15 right now.
Yep.
We were very, very close to 500. And I have to get my Facebook because we didn't have any comments from Facebook because I have no idea why it's not doing it because it's no private. I don't. There's nobody can see this. Nobody can see it on Facebook.
Well, if you want to watch it.
Yeah, Friday the 13th today was like crazy. Do you have any favorite one of those? No, I'm not into any of those.
I'm not a big Friday. I've watched it and it's like, I think it was like 12 when that stuff came out. So I mean,
Cable, you might be. Are you a Friday the 13th? Since it's Friday the 13th, are you a?
Not necessarily. A couple of them are bad. They haven't aged well. I loved them when I was a certain age for a couple specific reasons.
What reason was that?
Just growing up, you have different interests than you do when you get older. Or not different interests, but they mean more to you.
Right. I'm not big into horror.
I think that out of them, Nightmare on Elm Street was the scariest. If you had
I like Halloween. I like Halloween.
Yeah, between those two. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just not into that. But no, next week it's going to be DC. Okay,
it's all DC.
It's all DC. There's no DC
Cable
universe.
Sends me list.
It's
send me
all
list,
all DC.
I already got it saved, so I'll send it to you tonight.
And then after that, it'll be the greatest franchise of movies.
Are we doing that in the top 10 format, or are we doing that as a tier?
We'll do tier.
We can do tiers. I think tiers would be, and I got to think of, you know what I mean? Like we'll all think we'll give a list of the franchises and see how many franchises we got because there's a couple, and then that'll be the 2 Thursdays from now because we'll be back on Thursday because everything should be status quo.
Yeah, but Bubba and I were taking the day off. We had graduations to attend, so that's what the last 2 Thursdays.
Yeah, your son got graduated last week, and my stepdaughter graduated yesterday. So sometimes I have to do what I got to do.
Yep.
But before I get out of here, as always, I gotta thank my sponsors. I mean, I do appreciate all those sponsors. God bless you. PB&J's, I was out there today. I got some smoked pasta salad and a nacho grande. He's got tickets on sale, but I want to thank my sponsors for, oh, here's the other ones. I added them more. So here's all my sponsors for the show. Thank you guys so much. And we got the show coming up next Sunday. There's the card. Tickets are on sale at www.apwfwrestling.com. Here's the matches.
Nice.
Well, that match is not going to be. Ava Brooks will be there, but she's wrestling the Villainous. That's going to be a good match. He's wrestling Price Pure Gold because he's in Japan, so we don't have a graphic for that. But there's Rhino versus Vince Fowler, and Bill Collier versus Dennis. Oh my God, Gorgeous Gregory.
Gorgeous Gregory, yeah.
Dennis Gregory's another company. So, okay. Well, let me get this out of here. And then I'll be promoting all week long and see how I can do. And then I can bask in my glory after I'm done with all this. So, well, Cable, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Shane, thank you so much.
Guys, have a good one.
We'll be back next Thursday, and I will get the Facebook stuff that actually I don't know. I have no idea what happened. So, I mean, I had it on Facebook, and it just says I'm the only one that can watch it, which is ridiculous. So, and that doesn't help me out when people want to ask questions. So, good night, everybody. Hit like and subscribe to the Triple B Experience. We'll see you next Thursday at 9:00. And have a great weekend. Thanks, Shane. Thanks, Cable.
Guys.
And have a
Happy
good one.
Father's Day.
Oh, happy Father's Day to everybody. Okay. Peace out.